Hello, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another reading vlog where I'm gonna be letting a random number generator choose the books I read. So I have over 200 books in my Goodreads TBR and some of them have been there for years. And the truth is I just keep choosing books to read that are either coming out recently or that I am adding to my TBR recently. And the ones that have been there for years are just gonna keep getting buried. Some of them I don't remember them and I don't think about them. And so I'm just gonna, let them be chosen randomly. And I mean, maybe the random number generator will choose books that I have added to my TBR recently, or maybe it won't. And yeah, I'm gonna be choosing 3 books and maybe I'll do this more times and more books will be chosen, hopefully from the ones that have been there the longest. But anyway, let's just get into choosing the books. Okay, so here it says that I have 238 books on my TBR, but then the first one says 239. So I'm gonna say 239 and let's generate a number. So 132, it's kind of in the middle, and that is Hell House. I have no recollection of adding this book to my TBR, but here it is. That is our first book. It seems like it's a horror book, so I'm excited. Then the second book is 139. That's very close to the first. And that is Final Girls. Okay, I don't know what this is about, but this is by Myra Grant, and I usually do really enjoy the books from this author, so I am excited about that one, and it seems like it's probably horror as well. I mean, I love horror, but I would like a non-horror book next. 188. So 188 is The Trials of Morrigan Crow, which is the first book in the Nevermore series, which I think is middle grade. I never read middle grade, so that should be interesting. So yeah, the first one, obviously horror, paranormal, ghosts, mystery, supernatural, okay. The second one, horror, like I thought, science fiction. It's a novella, okay. Zombies. I mean, I've read a sort of zombie series from this author and I really enjoyed it, so I'm excited. And then this one, yes, it is middle grade and it's fantasy. Like I said, I don't really read middle grade, but I'm definitely interested. I mean, I did add it to my TBR, so I was obviously interested in it at some point. And so yeah, those are gonna be the 3 books I am gonna be reading for this video. This is gonna be spoiler free, so don't worry if you haven't read any of these books. And let's just get to reading. Hello. Okay, so more time has passed between my intro and my first update for this video than I was expecting, and I got a haircut in the meantime, so that's why I look different. But I am 39% into Hell House, and we are basically following a group of 4 people who are going to investigate a haunted house, like a famous haunted house, and 2 teams have gone to explore the house before, to investigate it, and 2 separate times, and both times everyone that has tried to investigate that house has died except for one person, and that one person that has survived the house is going on this new team. And then he's a medium, but he says that he has learned ways to not fully shield himself from spirits, but kind of shield himself in a way, protect himself from spirits after his other experience in the house. And then we also have another medium who is in this new team, and then we have a couple, and only the husband was invited to be on the team, but he decided to take his wife with him and she also wanted to go, so they both went. there to the house, and like he doesn't believe that ghosts exist. I think he says that like there is some sort of residual energy. I think that's what he said, but he doesn't really believe in the concept of ghosts themselves. But anyway, they are there and they are like starting to investigate. And we also learn about like all the horrible things that have happened in that house, like in the past with its like first owner, and like all the horrible, weird things that he did there and that happened while he was still alive, and like while he owned the house and while he threw like some weird parties in the house. And the book is divided into like days and then into like different hour marks. And I actually stopped before the second to last day that they're in the house. I originally intended to stop 50% in, but like 39% in was before like the second to last day. And like that day has a lot of like sub chapters, so I didn't want to stop in the middle of the day. So, that's why. But basically, like some creepy things have already happened, and also like all the like sub chapters, like the hour things, are like very short, which I do appreciate because I just love short chapters. They just make me feel like I'm reading faster, that I'm reading more, and also because like you see that your next chapter is like 5 pages long. You were like, it's just 5 more pages, let's read it. Or it's like just 3 more pages, like let's read it. And then like I keep thinking that until I've read like 50 pages. And like on the other hand, if you have been reading for a while and you see that your next chapter is like 30 pages, I'm just like, that is gonna take so long and I'm tired and I'm not gonna read 30 more pages. But if it's short chapters, I will read the 30 pages anyway. You know what I mean? Anyway, I really appreciate that the chapters are short and the creepy things that have happened are definitely fun. But I don't know if it is like the writing style or if it's the characters and the fact that I don't really care about any of them, that it's making me like not obsessed with the book. At least so far, I'm not like loving it. I am definitely enjoying it. I am definitely like curious about what really is going on in the house, but I'm not like obsessed with it. I am not loving it. But yeah, that is what I had to say so far. The like most things are definitely going to happen in these last 2 days that they're in the house. Like I said, it has a lot of sub chapters, so yeah, I am hoping that it will get even more interesting, more creepy. That is what I am hoping for. And yeah, I am probably gonna finish it and let you know how it goes. Okay, so I finished Hell House, and the haunting definitely got more intense in these last 60%. And the characters were like not only being attacked by the things that were haunting the house, but they're also being influenced and like acting unlike themselves. And I definitely got to a point where I was actually like really invested in wanting to know exactly what was haunting the house and like how it was haunting the house, and also like got to a point where I couldn't really stop reading, so I read pretty much the whole thing in one sitting. And like I said, I was enjoying it. I mean, I wasn't obsessed with it. It was definitely not like my favorite haunted house story, but I was like invested enough. I was, having a really good time. But then the ending, I didn't really like it. I thought there was like a huge buildup that led to nothing. Basically, that is what I felt like. I was really kind of disappointed because I was expecting a more like explosive ending, something more intense to happen, something bigger. I don't know. I didn't really like the ending. I don't know. I'm disappointed. I think I'm still gonna give it 3.5 stars because like there was that whole section that I was really invested in, and there were like some creepy things happening, some weird things happening, some gory things happening, and I did really like those scenes, but then I was just very disappointed with the ending. So yeah, I think I'm gonna give it 3.5 stars. And then now we're moving on to the next book, which is Final Girls. And this one is like really short. So I think I'm gonna like just read the whole thing and then update you, because I don't think that I will have much to say like halfway through the book. So yeah, that is probably what is gonna happen. And I'll let you know what I think about this second book. Okay, so I have read Final Girls, and when I was like choosing the books, I said that I was like excited to read this book because I had read others by this author that I absolutely loved, but I can tell you already that I did not love this one. I liked it, but I didn't love it. And so this was sci-fi horror, and we were learning that a doctor had like created a new sort of therapy, and it consisted of like a virtual reality program, and it could be used like as therapy for like helping people like overcome their trauma, and it could also help people like change their personality in a way. And for example, like in the beginning of the book, we are seeing two sisters who have never like gotten along with each other, and they now kind of have to have like a good sisterly bond. So they decide to enter that therapy, and they are now like bonding, because like the whole thing is putting people through like some horror fake scenarios. And so those sisters are bonding because they're having to like survive together. They're having to help each other survive because they would not survive alone. And so that is how it works basically. And then we see a journalist called Esther, and she's like a skeptic in terms of that therapy actually working. And so she agrees to like enter one of the scenarios, and the doctor enters with her as well. And while they're both like in the VR thing, they have to like help each other in overcoming dangers like in the VR thing, but also like real life dangers, because there is someone like out to get them. And they, even though they're not like the best of friends like in real life, they have to rely on each other while they are in the VR fake scenario. And like I was saying, I enjoyed it, but I didn't love it. And like the concept was really interesting, and I did really like the action scenes, but I was never really like that invested in what was happening. And I also was never really that invested in the characters themselves. I didn't really care about them. And I mean, maybe it was because like it was such a short book and I didn't really have enough time to connect to the characters. And so like when they were in danger, which was like the whole book basically, it was like the whole thing was them being in danger, both in the VR therapy thing and also in real life, I didn't really care that much. But like I was saying, the concept itself was very interesting, and there were like some very interesting scenes, and I did really love the writing, which like I usually do for this author anyway. And I also really like the way that it ended. I was not fully expecting it, so I really enjoyed it. So yeah, I did like it. I just didn't love it as much as I was expecting from this author. But it was definitely still an enjoyable book, and I gave it 3.5 stars. And now we are going into the third book, which is The Trials of Morrigan Crow. And that is definitely the one that is most like out of my comfort zone, because I never read middle grade. I don't think I've read a middle grade book since like I was that age. So I'm not sure what I'm gonna think about it. Even when I read YA, I'm sometimes like, I wish this had been like more intense. So with middle grade, I'm sure like it won't be, intense in that sense. And so yeah, I'm not sure what I'm gonna think about it. But like on the other hand, it is fantasy, and I do love fantasy. So I am still excited to read it, and I will probably read like half of it and update you unless something like absolutely crazy happens before the halfway point. Okay, so I am 51% into the Trials of Morrigan Crow, and this is the first book in the Nevermore, I think, series, which is a middle grade fantasy series. And so we are following Morrigan, and she is cursed because she was born on Eventide. And Eventide basically, from what I understood, marks like the end of an age and like the start of another, and all the children born on Eventide are cursed. And they are not only like cursed in the sense that, honestly, I don't know if they actually are responsible for bad things that happen or if people just treat them that way. But Morgan was always like blamed for any bad things that happened in her town. But not only that, they are also like cursed to die on the next Eventide. And so pretty close to the beginning of the book, we realize that the next Eventide has come a year before than it should have. And also like her family absolutely sucks because they treat her almost as if like she was already dead. And yeah, they're horrible. But she is like supposed to be, dead that day. And there is like a thing coming to kill her. I think they call it the Hunt of Smoke and Shadows. Shadows and Smoke. One of the two. And then a guy like gets there and he saves her by taking her to a magical town that is called Nevermore. And there like he wants her to enter like some sort of competition to join the Wondrous Society. And to join the Wondrous Society, she has to go through many trials against other kids. And we have already seen her going through like the first trial, which was definitely interesting. And like I'm enjoying it. It is definitely fun, but it's nothing that I'm like obsessed with. Like I'm enjoying it, but I'm definitely not loving it. Like I'm not really that invested. And I mean, Morgan is cool, like as far as children go, I guess. And also, I don't know if it's like me and my trust issues, but there is someone that I don't trust like at all because they just seem too nice. And I don't trust people who seem too nice. And yeah, like I'm enjoying it, but I'm not like dying to see what happens, basically. I could kind of like stop and not really be that bothered. And I think it's definitely like a me thing. I can definitely see why like a lot of people love this book. Like I can see why, but like me personally not loving it. I just think it's just really not like my kind of book. But I can definitely see like why so many people love it. But anyway, I am going to finish it and I'll be back to let you know what I thought of the second half of the book. Okay, so I have finished the Trials of Morrigan Crow, and we continue to follow her going through the trials of like the competition she was in, and we also learn more about the like villain, like the big bad that I think I even forgot to mention in my first update, but there's basically like a sort of, they don't even know, like some people, they don't even know if he's like a myth or if he's real, but it's like the villain that everyone is like afraid of. People are afraid to even like mention his name. So we learn more about that person. And I definitely like the second half of the book more than I like the first. And probably because we got more information on like the villain, but also because the trials themselves were more fun and more interesting. I guess the plot itself, like with all of that, got like much more my thing. And also I definitely like guessed the reveal, but I mean this is like a book for kids, so it's not like I shouldn't be able to guess it. But yeah, definitely guessed it, and it is a fun reveal. I did enjoy it. Like I was hoping that was it, and it was. And I also like the way it ended because it was like tied to that reveal thing. And yeah, I did enjoy the ending, but I don't, feel the need to keep reading the series. Like, maybe I will, but it's not like, a high priority series for me to continue. But I did enjoy it. I just, didn't absolutely love it. And I gave it 3.5 stars. And I honestly, like, when I started this video, I did not expect to rate all the books like the same. Like, I gave all three of them 3.5 stars, and that was definitely not what I was thinking would happen. And sadly, I didn't find like a new favorite book or even a book that I like loved, but also I didn't dislike any of the books that I read. So that's positive. And I definitely achieved my goal with this video, which was to read books that were like buried in my TBR and that I like had forgotten about and that I wouldn't get to if it wasn't for this video. And like especially two of them, Hill House and The Trials of Morgan Crow, I didn't even remember that they were on my TBR because Final Girls, like the book itself wasn't, the highest priority read for me, but I really do like that author and sometimes I just go back to her works. So I would have gotten to it eventually, but Hell House and The Trials of Morgan Crow, like I said, I didn't even remember them being in my TBR. So yeah, definitely achieved my main goal with this video. And like I said, I didn't love any of the books, but I liked all of them. So I am still happy and it was a lot of fun. And I am definitely planning on doing this again. And yeah, that is everything for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you have enjoyed it. And if you did, give it a like and subscribe, and I will talk to you next time. Bye!